Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. Welcome to the start of a very, very, very special week. Oh my gosh, we're finally here. I'm going to wait for you all to join, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. And I'm really excited about this week because this is the Wealth with Ease Activation Week. 5 days of being in high energy, wealthy conversations, the most expansive wealth feeling that we can conjure up, we're going to have this week. So I'm going to wait for you all to join. Happy Monday. Oh, hang on a second. I got to jump over here and see the comments. My favorite things. Yay! So excited for this. Me too. I'm so excited for this. All right, so I'm waiting for you all to join. One of the things, I know we have so many people that are brand new to our family. One of the things that we do every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, we meet here together. We kickstart the week in high energy. I call this your inspirational coffee time. And we just dish out love, love and inspiration, high energy, high vibe, and put our consciousness, our energy, our vortex feelings all in the right place as we kickstart the week. This week is a little extra special because finally, after months and months of preparation, we're here, the 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. And I really like, my greatest challenge is how am I going to keep everything that I have that I've been receiving for you in the time that we have together. An hour max per day for 5 days is not enough. I have so much to share with you. All right. So I noticed I got a little morning voice going on there this morning. So just love me through it. I have, come back from Paris, jet lag, like all kinds of downloads, processing, like it's so much energy channeling through me right now. Sleep is kind of like at bay, but here I am and we're all here together. All right. Not enough. Tanya says, I agree. 5 days, an hour per day, not enough. Absolutely not enough. All right. Hey, great morning, Jacqueline, and everyone that's here. Great morning to you. So this morning we're talking about defining wealth and deciding to have it. And I'm using this as kind of like our prep work for the week. We're going into 5 days of activating the desires for wealth that we have within us. But some of the things that I've learned, and that has, every time I go into this space where I'm getting ready to share with you, a lot of information comes my way. And it's always interesting to go, wow, I didn't know that, and I have to talk about this. So this particular thing that we want to talk about this morning, I want you to consider it prep work for the start of the week. Now, how many of you here, first of all, before I get too ahead of myself, how many of you here are registered and you're in and you're excited for this week of Wealth with Ease activation? Let me know in the chat. How many of you're squared away? In fact, just so you know, over in the Wealth with Ease activation Facebook group, we have given you $11,000. $11,110. So 1111. I remember that because I created it. So $11,000 to spend on something that brings you joy. It's all play money. This is one of the ways that we raise our wealth vibration, is we put our consciousness in that place of, I have so much money. I have money in abundance. I have $11,000 just sitting there asking me, will you please purchase something that brings you joy? So how many people are in? I'm in, I'm ready, I'm in, I love it. I'm so ready and looking forward to this. Me too, Carletta. Lauren says, yes, I'm in and I'm ready. So Charlotte is saying, how do I still register? Charlotte, if you are not yet registered, you want to go to tashachen.com/wealth. And I'm also going to give you another way at the end of this live to get yourself registered. But you want to be there. And here's the more important thing. One of the things that we noticed is that we have thousands of people registered, but the number of people in that Facebook group is not matching, which means a lot of you are not in the right Facebook group. So you want to go to Facebook and you want to type Wealth with Ease 5-day activation. Wealth with Ease 5-day activation. You'll see a nice banner of me sitting on a couch with my journal. That is the Facebook page. You want to be in that page. You want to be in that group page because that's where we're having all the fun. You know, one of the things that I do is I bring the energy and I create powerful vortex spaces where we all come together. So we've worked really hard. We're going to put all of our high energy in that Facebook group. Make sure you're there. Okay, so make sure you are in the right group. It's Wealth with Ease 5-day activation. In that group, we have given you your $11,000. I saw over 60 comments so far this week, but there's this morning when I woke up, but there's thousands of you that are registered for this 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. So make sure that you're in the group and make sure you go post. Give us a picture. Show us, what did you spend your $11,000 on? Right? And I'm going to talk about a few other things related to that in just a second. Okay, so having said that, the very first thing that we want to do as we get ready for this week of Wealth with Ease is I want you to think about this stat that I found recently. Let's think about all the wealth that exists in the world, right? All the wealth that exists in the world. Do you know that 1.2%, only 1.2% of the world's population owns 48% of the wealth? That's pretty much half of all the wealth that exists in the world. All the wealth is owned by 1.2% of the population. That is $222 trillion is owned by 1.2% of the population. That blew my mind. So you want to ask yourself, is that because that 1.2%, they're special, they were born into wealthy families? Your ego is going to give you every reason why it's them and not us, right? You know how we do that? Oh yeah, all that kind of crazy kind of wealth, it's for them. It's not for me. It's not for us. Well, if you are part of this family, if you have committed your time to be in here this week, that is the number one thing that we're going to release. That is not true. It's BS. It's a thing that your ego allows you to keep believing so that you can stay safe. But heck, you registered for a thing called 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. So your higher self knows you came here to experience wealth. You came here to have everything that you desire and in abundance, right? So there is no them and there is us. There's something though that they're doing that perhaps we're not doing. So here's another data point for you that I found really interesting. For every 100 human being, only 2 know exactly what they want with crystal clear clarity. So take 100 human beings. For every 100 human beings, only 2 of them, that's only 2% of the world's population, is crystal clear about what it is that we want, how we want our lives, our abundance, our wealth, what we want from life. Only 2% of us know that with crystal clear clarity. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm going to jump back over here to comments. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that those 2 data points are coincidental? Do you believe that 1.2% of the world's population own all the wealth and only 2% know what they really want? Know what they truly want. Know it, own it, embody it, believe it. Do you think that that's by chance? It's just coincidence, Tasha. Absolutely not. There are no coincidences. And especially when there's data to prove it, there's no coincidence. So I am committed. Part of getting into, yeah, I love it. Part of getting ourselves ready for this 5-day Wealth with Ease activation is we're going to do some prep work. We are stepping into increasing that 1.2% number, and we're getting into that bucket. we're jumping into increasing the 1.2%. Now, there's thousands of you registered for this 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. I don't know if we're going to move the needle very much, if we're going to make it, 1.5%, but I know we're going to be in that percentage, not the 98.7%. We're taking ourselves out of that and putting ourselves in that 1 point whatever percent number. Period. End of story. My greatest commitment, I remember our marketing person asking me maybe a year and a half ago, like, what is the big thing you want for your community? And I actually, hang on a second, because I have it written here. I've been cleaning up. Okay, here we go. So like, I have this little sticky note on my desk. You see it? It says goal 100 million. And so far in our community, we have shown people how to create well over $55 million. And so I was like, okay, our big thing is I want us to be able to proclaim that within this community, within this wealth vortex that we've created, we have generated well over $100 million. Well, you know what? That is not enough. It's not. It's not enough. I'm ripping it up. Done. Because when I read that data, $222 trillion is owned by 1.2%. Why are we not getting more of that pie? I am committed that in this wealth community, we are going to have the greatest number of multi-millionaire females of any other community that exists. Are you in for that? Are you a yes? Like, I'm bringing it. I'm going to show you everything I've got, everything I know to create that. All I need you to do is like, I'm in. I'm in, Tasha. Sheila's like, yes, I'm in. I want, like, I am proclaiming. There's nothing different from those 1.2% than you and me. Nothing, nothing, nothing other than they're crystal clear about what they want. They have done the work that we're going to do this week. I promise you, when I talk to wealthy people, I am amazed at how much growing up, I thought they were so different than me. They knew all these things. They had access to all these things that I didn't have. And the more I've done this work, the more I realize, oh my gosh, no, they are doing something different, but it's nothing we can't do. And that's why you're here. That's why we're going to do this week, right? So I'm in. Like Nancy's like, yes, let's do it. Let us take ourselves out of the 98% and put ourselves into increasing that 1.2%, owning the wealth that's available for all of us. So here are the two things that we're going to do this morning. Number one, we're going to get crystal clear about what wealth looks and feels like for you. When you think of wealth, it's different for all of us. For some people, when I think, I've heard people when I ask them what does wealth mean, it's the first thing that comes to their mind is a number. Tasha, I see me claiming this many millions, or this many hundreds of thousands, or this multi-millions, right? Or billions. I don't know, what does wealthy mean to you? When you think of wealth in your own definition, not what you open a dictionary and see, not what everyone else is saying. One of the things that I realized on my journey is I started to take on other people's definition of wealth, and it wasn't doing anything for me. It really was like, I guess, okay, I guess that's the number. A long time ago, I remember hearing someone say, if you want to live and maintain like a average, like above medium, not have to worry about money for the rest of your life, you want to have amassed $30 million, right? That's like the statisticians, they figured it all out. Now with inflation, that this was like 10, 12 years ago, it was 30 million. Who knows what it is today? And that's also the point. Like, it keeps moving, So maybe, is it a number, or is it a feeling, or is it different parameters for you? But we have to get really clear for ourselves. What do you define as wealth? And if it includes a number, if it includes an amount, what is that for you? So here's what I want you to do this morning as your prep work for these 5 days. Number one, I do want you to think of an amount. Just put it out there, create your number, grab your journal. Everyone's been saying, what can I do to prepare? Here is action item number one. We're going to define wealth for you. not my definition, but yours. So when you think of your definition for wealth, according to you, what is the amount that makes up you have amassed, you have called in, you have said, yes, this number has my name on it into your life's experience? What is that number? So you want to have an amount. You want to think about the feeling. I see so many of you describing it's the feeling of freedom, right? It's the feeling of freedom for a lot of you. I'm seeing so many amazing comments over here, but you want to be crystal clear. What is the feeling that wealth will have for you? And here's why I want you to do that, because subconsciously, and we're going to talk a lot about this week, subconsciously, even though you're saying you want wealth, subconsciously, you have some feeling fears around being able to manage it. You have feeling fears around it might change you. You have feeling fears around it might change others around you. So you want to, that's what's running the show right now. Those feelings subconsciously are stopping the wealth that you are desiring from coming into your physical experience. So you have to be really clear. No, I'm the one who decides. And okay, I've been playing around and allowing those feelings to rent free live in my subconscious mind, but no more. I am going to decide right now, this is how I see myself feeling. It's the feeling of freedom. It's the feeling of peace. It's the feeling of joy. It's the feeling. What does abundance feel like? That is the feeling that I am deciding my definition of wealth has. Because here's the other thing. If you don't decide how it's going to feel, how many people do you know have amassed a lot of wealth and they don't feel happy? They don't feel joy. They're constantly worried, right? They have feelings that they would have never thought they would have with money coming in. I know a lot of people like that. So you want to decide right now, this is the way I'm going to feel. So what is an amount? What is a feeling? What are the things? Yes, the reason that you desire wealth is because there are physical things that add joy to your life. What are the things that are included in your definition of wealth? You know, my husband and I have been really working on him. And we've been having these conversations as he watches me prepare for this. And, you know, I ask him, like, okay, so babe, you got $11,000 extra to spend. And I ask him all the amounts that we're going to get this week. And we've just been in wealthy conversations. And it's so interesting to watch how we go from what the conversation sounds like when we're talking about money that we need for things versus when we just play this wealthy game. It's so interesting to watch not only the way the conversation is different, the words that we're saying, oh my gosh, but the feeling, the way we're laughing and we're like kids, and we even get to the point where we're like, oh well, that's not enough, right? That amount isn't enough. And it's so interesting to just watch, how do we feel? But the thing that I love about these conversations is how we start to realize the things that we have desires for that we're not even given energy to, because we're thinking, well, we don't yet have the money to be able to do that. Well, I know for sure that everything first exists as a thought, and everything that we can create and bring into physical experience, we have to be willing to acknowledge that we have the desire for it. So if you're not yet acknowledging that you desire things, or you are kind of like putting them on the back burner because you don't believe you have the money yet, you're doing your wealth creation a great disservice. Do you think for a second those people that have their 1.2 that have, I'm sorry, the 1.2% that own the $22 trillion, do you think that they were just sitting there going, I'm not really sure why I want this wealth. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. I promise you, they were dreaming of their multi-billion-dollar homes all over the world. They were thinking about the yachts they were going to buy. They were thinking about the legacy that they were going to set up for their kids. They were thinking about what the wealth could do before they got the wealth. Right? It wasn't like, oh, now I have this money, I'm going to do these things. That's not how it works. And that's where we're delusional. We're thinking, I'm going to get the money and then think about what I want to do with it. I'm telling you, it's the chicken first, right? It's the chicken with the thought of the egg that creates the egg. That's how it works. So Feeling wealth is the secret. That's right, Ray. Okay. So we have an amount, we have the feeling, we have the things. And now I want you to think of when you are so wealthy, when you have created this wealth and you've defined what wealth means to you. I want you to think of being generous. How do you see yourself being generous with your wealth? That's included in my definition of wealth. I want to be sure, I want to proclaim to God, universe, source, that this wealth is for me, for my family, and for others. This is the way I enjoy being generous. One of the things that I love about, having created this level of wealth in my life is that at any moment in time, I just get to say yes. If someone represents a need to me and I'm able to, because I have money in abundance now, I can say, I love the feeling of I can say yes. I don't have to go, let me see if I have it in the budget. Let me see if all my bills are paid first. Let me see if there's anything else needed. It's just like the wealth is there and I can say yes. That's one of the most beautiful results of creating wealth is that you have the ability to be generous. And I know if you have brought yourself into this vortex, then you are aligned to generosity. That is part of your desire for wealth. It's whether you want to do it for your family. I saw so many people this morning in our Facebook group saying, I want to help my family. What's your intention for this week? Why do you want more wealth? I want to help my family. I want to help my grandma. I want to put my parents in a home. I want to make sure my kids, are set. It's like we have this generous spirit. And we are women, we're nurturers. So as you define wealth for you, really start thinking, what does that generosity look like? This is a part of your definition for wealth. And the last thing I'll say is think about your options. What are some of the options that you want to have in life? These beautiful ladies that are sponsoring our podcast for the next season, I was having a conversation with them and they were sharing with me their definition. Their word for the year is like opulence, I think. Yes, it's opulence. And I was asking them in our interview, how do you define wealth? What is your definition of wealth? And they said one of the things that they included, which I've borrowed because I love it, it's the idea of spontaneity, that at any time I have the option to choose. I have the option to choose. um, Oh, I love it. I have all the options, Maureen says. Number three, oh, someone's saying, what was number three? I'll go back over them, but you want to really include in your definition that you love the feeling, the opportunity to choose, to have options. That for me, it's like I love freedom, but I love choice. That's even more expansive to me than freedom. I love choice. And anytime I can choose to do, be anything. And so an amount here, I'm going to go over what you want to include in your definition of wealth. You want to have an amount, you want to have a feeling, you want to include things. So in your definition of wealth, what do you have? What are the things? What are the material things that you have? And someone said, I'm not really big on material things. And I want to challenge you. When I hear people say I'm not really big on material things, what that is that I have found 9.5 times out of 10, people who say I'm not big on material things, they actually have a desire for big material things, but they have a belief or they've made an agreement that it's so far-fetched that why bother acknowledge it? Like it's so far-fetched. Like I want to live in a castle, but that's so far-fetched. I'm just going to say I don't want material things instead. Well, if you're here and if you're committed that wealth is your birthright and you have the capacity to have anything that you choose to say yes to, then really erase all of those limits and just ask yourself, nothing is far-fetched. What do I really want? What do I really want? That is material. That is physical. That is a thing. If you don't get it yet, let me remind you, you were created so that God could experience all of the physical things that exist through you. That's why we're here. God's like, you know what? I'm going to teach man how to make beautiful, massive homes because I want to see what it feels like to live like that. You know, I was in Paris at this hotel and I was like, are you kidding me? Like the elevator doors were painted in gold. It was just like, I was like, wow, God, you want to see what this feels like to look at this beautiful, like the staircases were trimmed in gold, like the lush carpet with red and gold, like just that wealthy. I don't even know. I just stood there and I was like, you're going to enjoy this through me, God. Thank you for giving man the idea to make all of this beauty and for giving me the opportunity to have you experience it and enjoy it through me, your creation. So when you're saying no to material things, that is your ego. That's not your higher self. That's not God. Why would we have all these things if God did not want to experience them through us? So say yes to the things. So an amount, a feeling, things, generosity, and options. Those are the 5 things I want you to include in your definition for wealth. And then part 2, and this is the most powerful part of all. You have to decide right here in this moment, yes or no. And this is what I want you to just process and ask yourself before you type it. Have you really decided to be wealthy? Have you truly decided? I've decided I am wealthy. I am going to experience wealth in this lifetime. I have fully decided and committed to that, right? So oh my gosh, Lori, you're sending me off on a tangent. My wealth is so big, it has even been challenged by coaches. That's a whole other conversation. And that's one of the things when someone else tells you, what are you doing? That's not possible. Be realistic. Be realistic is the worst thing we could ever hear. It truly is the worst thing. So I'm going to read, hang on a quick second. Where did my screen go? Where did my screen go? I want to read something for you and forgive me just because I tried to print it and it wouldn't print. So here is a quote that I love. This may sound too simple, but is great in consequence. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which, if you don't know this truth, it kills countless ideas and splendid plans. And here is the truth. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never have otherwise occurred. If you are not committed, if you have not decided, you don't get access to this. But the second you commit with everything in your being and you decide, a whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goet's quotes. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. The moment one decides, providence moves in your favor. The moment you decide. So, this moment here is where you get to decide. I have decided to be wealthy. Do not type it if you're not there. Do not, because this is not a cavalier, just it sounds great to type. Like if you are here and you have fully decided, I've decided to be wealthy. I am the one who decides, and I am making that commitment to myself, to my birthright, to everything that exists, to God that created me, to having this wealthy experience called life. I am now 100,000% decided to be wealthy. Define wealth and decide to have it. That is your number one thing before we go into anything. I can teach you everything I know. I can show you all the puzzle pieces. I can show you the path. I can give it all to you. But here is what I've learned through my own journey and through mentoring others. If you haven't decided, if you haven't committed with everything in your being, none of it will serve you. None of it will serve you. You'll kind of like take a little, enjoy the way it feels for the moment, and then you'll just go back to the way you were. But it's like me. I was decided I was going to have a wonderful relationship and an amazing marriage, and nothing was going to get in the way. Nothing. Yes, did I have not amazing relationships in between? Yes. Did I lose faith a little bit in between? Yes. Did I have to do a lot of work on myself? Yes. But one thing was constant, and it was the decision that I was going to have my desire for a happy, wholesome, loving relationship. And that is what I want you to understand, that it's your decision. It's your definition. What does it look like? You're crystal clear about it. And then you have decided, I've decided to be wealthy. That decision, I need you to feel in your body to your core before we start this 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. All right. And so with that, I love it. We are way over time. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 5 days and we are going to commit in action to this decision. How are you going to do that? Every day this week at 12 p.m. Eastern, show up on Facebook. I'm going to give you, go ahead right now and type the word wealth. Hang on, let me get it here for you. Type the word wealth. One of the things that we realize too is that you're not all in a reminder system. So you want to type the word wealth. It's going to ask you, do you want to get reminders for everything this week? Say yes. You want the reminders, you want the homework, you want where to show up, you want the links to the live, everything that you need, you will receive when you type the word wealth and check Facebook Messenger for a message from me. Okay, we're going to give you everything for these 5 days. That way it's just easy, it's automated. Tell you when to show up, we give you the links about where to show up, we give you the homework, we give you the money to spend, we put you in the Facebook group. Everything that you need happens when you type the word wealth. So type the word wealth in the comments. If you have not already done so, you're not registered. If you're asking things like, where is the Facebook group? What time is the call? Where is the link? Everything gets delivered through our Facebook Messenger automated system. So go ahead and make sure you type the word wealth. And obviously you have to check your messages, right? Check your messages for a message from me. What else do I want to say? I'm just going to use this opportunity because I feel like I might forget later on today. I have so much to share. But one of the things that you're going to get as you go through the process of being registered is you're going to get this evidence tracker. So what we're using this to do is every day this week, you are going to write in the money you got. So today we got $11,000, $11,110 to spend, and you're going to write in, this is what I purchased. I use this play money to buy this thing that brings me joy. And I really want you to think about, I don't want you to be practical, right? That's kind of the problem. We're so practical with money. We give it so much weighted energy. I want you to just sit and think, everything that I need is paid for. And so this is just $11,000 that I truly get to ask myself, what would bring me the greatest joy with this $11,000? Be selfish. Like, yes, just because, and not in a bad way, but just because the purpose of this activity is to put you out of, I need money to pay bills, and into, I have more than enough money. We don't spend enough time in that feeling place of, I have more than enough money, everything's taken care of, and I now have $11,000 to just buy something that brings me joy. A beautiful painting, a beautiful light fixture, like this is what I did with my money last year. I landscaped my entire yard because I love the feeling of, it just feels like I'm in the tropics in my house, right? So what is something that would truly just bring you joy? You're going to write that down. And then every day on this side, you're going to look for evidence of the flow of wealth into your life. It can be physical and non-physical. You might find a penny. You might get a check in the mail. You might get a credit card offer. You might get a coupon for something. You just want to pay attention to the flow and the proof that wealth exists all around you. It could just be a feeling, like being in our Facebook group. That's a whole vibe. It's a whole energy, right? So that alone could be your evidence. It's been a while since I felt this much like wealth frequency in myself. That is evidence. The feeling is evidence of proving to yourself that wealth exists all around you. All right. So I'm going to jump back over here. Check the comments. Yes, it starts at 12 Eastern. If you, like I said, if you type the word wealth in the comments, check Facebook Messenger. We're going to give you everything that you need. I've made it so easy. We're sending you a text. We send you email. We've put messages in your Facebook Messenger. Everything that you need has been provided. But I would say the easiest way to make sure you get everything is to check your Facebook Messenger after typing the word wealth. All right. With that, mwah, I love you. I cannot wait for the rest of this week. We are literally just going to be oozing wealth, oozing the energy, the vibration, and the feeling of wealth so that we manifest, attract, call it in, and say yes to it. I love you all. Make sure you sit with your definition of wealth and your decision to have it. Mwah. Have a great day. See you at 12. See you all at 12 Eastern.